I love the start of this show. That magnificent roar never gets old. Welcome, welcome, one and all. Welcome to the Africam show. My name is Kelly. I'm going to be having a look at some of these fabulous clips with you over the next little bit of time. Bridget McKinney, hi Kelly, welcome. Thank you for being here. W. Butchard, hello everyone from Toronto, all the way from Toronto. Awesome. Zygote. Hi, Kelly Oldacre. Namaste. Namaste. Back to you, Zygote. Jack the Boat. What's up, guys? Sounds like an emerald spotted wood dove is also saying hi back to you, Jack. So remember, everyone, we are live and interactive here. Please send through all your thoughts, all your comments. I love hearing from everyone that's out there. That's interesting. That appears to be a little bit of a terrapin love going on there. That's very interesting. I have never ever seen that before in my life. I recently revised the new family for these guys. They used to be the Chelonians, but they're now the Tustudines. I believe this group, terrapins, the tortoises, and the turtles. And these Tustudines are getting jiggy with it there by the looks of it. I don't think I've ever seen that before. That is absolutely fabulous. Kari, hi Kelly, you've got milk today. I've got some cool water today. Considering we're coming into autumn, it's still quite warm here today in the low south. Salim Al-Ketbi, thank you very much for bringing this to us on YouTube. Really great time watching and learning about these creatures. Great efforts. Always hope the best. Back at you, Salim. Thank you so much for joining us today. Dear NC, good morning, Kelly and everyone. I forget, it depends on where you are in the world. If it's good morning, it's very much the afternoon here, but thank you for joining us this morning. And everyone else, happy to be here, ready with your hot cup of coffee. Welcome. Casper said, goes, Ty. How's it going? It's been a while. Good morning, afternoon. Kelly and all ready for the show with hot coffee. Thank you for being here. Who have we got here? This looks like it might be Tembe to me. Almost like a shimmer on the water there. I don't think it is a shimmer though. I must admit I am very excited because I am treating myself to a night in the Kruger tomorrow. It doesn't matter, in my opinion, how long or how long you've been doing this or how many times you have been. There's always something a little bit exciting about digging out the binoculars and the Kruger map and heading off to explore. You never know what you're going to find. And I'm going in on my own. I'm just going to go for a lovely drive in early tomorrow morning, spend the night there, and then drive back out again. Because we really do enjoy this. And I think anyone who ever joins us here on the show would feel exactly the same way. Zygo, emerald spotted wood dove calling, my favourite dove call. It's a very pretty call, Zygo. I recently saw and heard my first tambourine dove, which was exciting. Similar call, but it doesn't sort of drop down. Emerald, oh, I've got to do bird impression now. Emerald spotted wood doves. There's that do 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 do, and tambourine doves that just go do 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 do. And when I first heard it, I was sort of waiting, thinking, is that going to get lower? And it did not. Therefore, It was a tambourine duck. Who have we got here in the Oliphant? That looks like it might be a crocodile, possibly. It can always be very tricky to tell crocodiles from logs. Oh, apparently it's a hippo. That's how difficult it is to identify crocodiles. Oh, now I thank you. If I'd just been quiet for another 5 seconds, it would have become very apparent that that was a hippopotamus. And it looks like, is that a young one next to it or something? It looks like it might have a youngster there. That river is still pumping. I saw this river about two weeks ago. I was driving over the Oliphants across a couple of the bridges there, and it definitely looks like it's still got very good water in it. Coming into the end of our wet season now. You can see all the grass is turning brown. I'm sure we'll be getting lots of activity at lots of the cameras as the resources dry up a little bit and the animals congregate more and more around the water points. People often ask me when is the best time to come on safari. There's never a bad time to come to certainly the Lowveld area of South Africa. It does depend on your objectives. But if someone forced me to say what's the best time of year to come, I normally say September, October, because that's at the end of the dry season. The bush is open. There's lots of animals congregating at waterholes. So if you're coming for game viewing, if forced to say, I would say that. Either that or this time of year is actually quite good as well because the grass isn't too thick. I'm sure we drive past many lions and snakes and leopards and all sorts of things in the grass that we just can't see in the summer. But if you're coming for the insects and all the migratory birds and the butterflies and the lush grass and the babies, all the baby animals, then you're probably better off coming in the summertime, but of course it can be brutally hot here. Karu, Lucky Kelly, yes, I'm really quite excited. It's a shame how life can get in the way sometimes. All of us, despite living often not too far from these amazing areas, can get caught up. So yeah, I'm making a point, and I'm very excited. Take my binoculars. Oh, and I drive so slowly when I'm in the Kruger. Jive Bunny, you said you've stayed at Skukuza and Satara many years ago. I've stayed there many times. Very, very lovely area to be in. I'm going to take all the little, what are they called? Off the main road, all the little river loops. And I've learned over the years that just give yourself lots and lots and lots of time, and then give yourself a little bit more time than that. W. Butchard, Kelly, you're brave. I'm afraid of the duck. Yeah, that might not work for you. It is delightfully dark in the Kruger Park. Awareness of light pollution is increasing. Astrotourism has been seeing a major upturn in recent years, and people are really starting to respect those night skies and be more mindful of light pollution in these areas. So yeah, W. Butchard, it's very dark there, so that might not work. Douglas Ross, if I had the money, I would definitely go on a genuine African safari. It can be cost prohibitive, Douglas, but it's actually really quite reasonable. If you go, you can. I'm self-driving into the park, and anyone can do that. You could also do that. So if you know where to look, there are some fairly cost-effective ways of still doing a very genuine African safari, but the flights can be very prohibitive, yes. Oh, lovely. We've got some, these are yellow-billed storks. I was torn then between yellow-billed storks and white storks. But judging by the yellow bills, I'm going to go and yellow-billed storks without double checking. Back here at Tenby, it looks like they're eating something up there. MG leopard spots. Hi, Kelly from the Bay Area, CA, California, I assume. Welcome, MG leopard spots. You are very, very welcome here, and thank you for taking the time to join us. And these lovely yellow-billed storks. I'm going to have to check those now. I'm doubting myself. You very confidently say these things, and then I still second guess myself, even after all this time. Like my hippo crocodile. Yes, they are yellow-billed storks, of course they are. Karu, how did tambourine doves get their name? That's a percussion instrument. I've got no idea, Karu. But I tell you what, now I've got my bird app open. I'm going to play you a tambourine dove. I'm not sure if it's going to have a horrible impact on sound or something, but I'm gonna do it anyway. Tambourine dove. Let me play. You watch, someone will phone me now. That is a tambourine dove. And I've got absolutely no idea how it got its name. Maybe sometimes it calls quickly and it sounds like someone's jangling a tambourine. No, that's not right, Corey. I don't know. I'm not sure how the tambourine dove got its name. I'm just having a look on here to see if it. Oh, there's a little bit of discussions here. No, it doesn't say anything here about how it got its name. Brilliant question, though. Homework for me. Why? Let's make a note of my homework. I will endeavour to find out for you, Cara. Douglas Ross, quite dangerous animals, the old hippos. They can be, yes, Douglas. You have to be very cautious around water's water's edges, not just for the hippos, but also anything else that may be present. We've come back across here to Ngoro with this lovely little warthog family by the looks of it. I'm still seeing a few little ones around, but they've all grown up quite quickly, the same as you'd have thought I'd be used to it by now, but every year I'm stunned by how quickly those little tiny baby impalas grow. These are indeed warthogs. Having a dig around and a snuffle around, looking for roots and any other goodies in the grass there. Spend a lot of time grazing these warthogs. I'm poised to see warthogs in my garden. I've got a tiny little bit of lawn that I'm trying to keep alive, and apparently these guys make quite a mess of lawns. It's only a teeny little bit. I wanted to try and put some lawn down or a bit of grass rather than patio or anything, so all the goodies and bugs and stuff could live in it. But I'm poised for the dry season coming and these guys coming and feasting on my lawn, but we will see what pans out. Look how this warthog is down on his front knees there, just to get a little bit lower to the ground, and they will use those tusks to dig up tubers or roots or all sorts of things from under the ground. I have had zebras on the lawn so far, but they bite the grass. But apparently, let's watch these warthogs. Are they Are they nibbling nicely or are they just dragging it out by the roots? Huh. There's some oxpeckers there on that warthog. That's not super common to see. Let's see if this warthog tolerates little birdie pitter-patter feet on it there. Oh, it looks like they're biting the grass nicely. Maybe my lawn will be okay. These oxpeckers, they've got a special foot structure, so they've almost got they've got zygodactylous feet. So they've got 2 toes forwards, 2 toes backwards, and it allows them to grip on nicely to the side of things while they're feeding. It's almost like a not quite a grappling hook, but it just gives them a bit more grip, so they don't slide off when they're trying to pick all the ticks and goodies off of whatever it is they are hitching a ride stroke feeding on. MG leopard spots. It is a very cool sound, that tambourine dove, despite me not knowing where I got its name from. And yeah, I had my first visual sighting of a tambourine dove sort of a month ago. You never stop learning, you never stop seeing new things here. I don't think I've ever seen mating terrapins before either. And yes, Karu, a very interesting call. You just sort of have to wait and see if it's going to descend like a emerald spotted wood dove. And it's an absolute pleasure for answering your question, Karu. Please, everyone, send your thoughts and questions through. I will endeavour to do my very best to answer them. Often, I haven't taken guests on a formal game drive for quite a while, but a very important part of my briefing was always, please ask as many questions as you can. I will never make anything up. There's no such thing as a stupid question. And if I don't know, I will be honest. It's a little bit different now from when I started guiding. I mean, it's fairly common when I also first started guiding, so 2011, 2012. But these days, people can Google anything, anytime, any place, anywhere. And there are stories of people coming up with all sorts of bizarre things in the bush with their guests, and it's something I've never done, not even as a joke, because I've noticed, and I've also been on the other side of it. People put a lot of faith in their guide. Guests are often out of their comfort zone. And if you start, I mean, making jokes is okay, but if you start telling people things and they believe them and then go, ha, only joking, I found it can mean they lose a little bit of faith in you, which is not what you want when you've got guests relying on you. Oh, hello. Hi, that was a surprise. That was a very close-up elephant approach there at King's Camp. King's Camp in fabulous Timbavati. I know King's Camp well. I actually spent a couple of months at King's Camp when I first arrived in South Africa. It still looks fairly green there. It's actually surprising how much of a difference just being in a slightly different area, rainfall and how green an area is. If you drive, well, sometimes 50 kilometers in a different direction, they've had much more or much less rainfall, which you can see really clearly. Well, you didn't drink that nicely, did you? That was a lot of dribble. Let's watch. I don't think that was a full 6 litres that went in there, Mr. Elephant. W. Butchard, how long have I been guiding? I've been guiding professionally since I did my training in 2011, 2012, and then I started guiding full time in 2013. And I've driven since 2013. I've guided full time for maybe 9 years of that. I've also done lots of freelance guiding in between. But I guided full time for 3.5 years in Madikwe. Well, no, about 2.5, 3 years in Madikwe. Then I was in management for a little while, but I missed guiding full time. So then I moved down to the low felt to go back to guiding full time again. I became a terrible backseat driver. I would stand on the deck, actually on the deck of Tail Game Lodge. And if there was anything coming to the water, I'd radio the guys that were on drive and go, "Oh, we've got lions coming there." Like, yes, we're aware of that. Thanks very much, Kelly. So that told me I should probably go back to full time again. And W. Butchard, it never gets old. I am almost as soon as the show finishes, I'm going to be leaving to head towards the Kruger for an evening alone with just the bush. And I will just be driving slowly. I actually want to spend some time at a waterhole. I don't sit for as long as I should, I don't think. I'm not the most patient person in the world. But watching these cameras quite a lot of late, it's shown me how much can just appear if you give it some time. So I think I'm trying to decide on a time frame. I'll find there when I'll decide when I get to a pan. I'm going to find a pan, hopefully with no other people. And I just want to stay put for maybe an hour, maybe 2 hours. I'll see. And I would love to find out, and maybe nothing will come. But you just don't know. And it's the beauty of these cameras that there are so many cameras that we can watch to see what is happening where, and you just never know what's going to turn up. Speaking of the amazing Tau, lovely big group of impalas. I think we have been seeing some male rutting behavior lately in the impalas. I haven't heard any yet, but we have been seeing those tussles between the males. And there's a good chance there will be a big dominant male somewhere in this group, somewhere locally. And he will have the first breeding rights to this group of females here. It still looks quite green here as well for now, which is fabulous news for all the animals. Oh, there's a crocodile there. I've only just noticed that. Wow. I'm sure everyone else saw that long before I did. Has everyone else seen the crocodile? Okay, yeah, it's moving now. See, this is what happens at waterholes. Until something moves or there's a tail flick or something, everything is almost invisible. And movement is often the first thing I pick up. It's almost impossible to scan, and you know, your brain can't work fast enough to sort of every single spot you cover to think, oh, lion, leopard, elephant, crocodile. But I often look for movement, and I think practice does help, but I more look for, see, I would probably pick this crocodile up now because it looks weird. There's a bit of, his nose is pointed and there's a bit of grass, and that to me is an unnatural shape. But when his head was down there, he just completely blended in with the mud. These impalas are fairly unconcerned about this crocodile. They're a good size now. I find it quite difficult to get size aspects from these cameras a lot of the time. I would love to find out exactly how big these crocodiles are now. I think they're about maybe a meter when I was there. That is a fairly decent sized croc now. I'd love to find out someone who's there if they've actually managed to get a measurement on these crocodiles. W. Butchard, yes, I have been very fortunate in that time. I've seen some amazing things. Also seen quite a lot of not so much. Uh, but as I've said many times before, I almost I almost prefer the looking than the seeing now. Um, it's it's supposed to be a very grounding, like neurologically, a very grounding activity. There's seeking systems in the brain, and that drive, that am I going to see something? Where shall I look for it? Is something going to appear to me? Is almost more interesting than a once you've seen the thing, you go, oh, there's the thing there now. And the look is the look is over. Douglas Roth, any chance of seeing lions? Here on the cameras? Absolutely. In the Kruger? Absolutely. But you just never know, Douglas Roth. As we always say, you never know what's just around the corner. And I've driven around many corners and gone, oh, there's a lion, which is hard to believe for a lot of people, but it does happen on a relatively regular basis. Dive Bunny, enjoy your Kruger trip. We'll be interested in what you see. Me too. A lot of the birds are probably, if they haven't gone already, are going to be leaving. But like I said, I almost enjoy the looking more now than the finding. But I'm definitely, after spending some time with these cameras, I'm definitely going to pick a pan, pick a water hole, take some snacks. Kruger is all about the snacks. And just plot up for an hour. But then the tricky point is if you take your eyes off the water hole and I mean, some people will take a book, but if you look down, you never know. Something might have come and drunk and left in that time. So I will definitely report back, Jive Bunny, on what I did find in the Kruger. MG leopard spots, night sounds are awesome, especially when the hyenas are calling. Creepy but cool. The night sounds are incredible. It is one of I'm trying to at the moment make a conscious effort to spend more time still and quiet. I don't know if anyone else that is watching or listening today would agree, but it's these days. Oh, hi. We've got an Ellie come to drink out this lovely, clear, clean little dam area. Betna Lady Dam in Baluli, which is just up the road from me. Yes, I'm trying to consciously spend more time still and quiet, because it's very easy with technology and fast-paced and rushing here and rushing there and appointments and meetings and all the rest of it, to forget to spend quiet time. So I've been trying to consciously spend more time at night as well, and I'm definitely going to be doing it over the next couple of days, just sitting quietly, no phone, no noise, and just listening to sounds like this. There's a bird or something on the edge of that pan there that I think just got splashed by that elephant. Sounds like maybe a Swainson spurfowl calling there. April Owl, Kelly, what wildlife has surprised you on your adventures in the bush? What wildlife hasn't surprised me? April Owl. That crocodile surprised me just then because I didn't know it was there. And then it was. So wildlife surprises me on an incredibly regular basis. I also saw a clip yesterday that someone in Hoodspray has seen an otter on one of their trail cams, which I find very exciting because I've hardly ever seen otters. And that's one of the things I enjoy about wildlife, April, is you get surprised on a very regular basis. These elephants seem to be playing with their water today. Zygo, how do you measure a crocodile? Um, shall I give the obvious answer? Really carefully. Um, it's easier if you're sort of at ground level next to them, and you can often, if you're in a vehicle, especially those crocodiles at Tau, which probably regularly see people on the deck of the lodge and things a bit more relaxed. It's just easier. You can often get a good gauge if you're just closer. I can anyway, as to how big a crocodile is. But I find it difficult from high up without anything close to it for scale, if you know what I mean. Jean Gale, great example of how the colourful movements detracts the eye from the crocodile lying camouflaged in the mud. Exactly. That is how they catch things, Jean Gale. Absolute. That's missing your mouse. That's exactly how they catch things, Jean Gale, and it certainly worked with me. And that is why you always have to be careful in the bush, especially around water. Lovely Butchard, I'm curious. Do you bring anything to protect yourself in case of an attack? No, is the short answer. I'm certainly the most dangerous thing I'm taking into Kruger with me tomorrow is I'm not deodorant. I'm going to be in a vehicle, and that does make a lot of difference. On foot, it's a slightly different scenario. Often walks in big 5 areas, guides will carry a rifle, a large caliber bolt action rifle normally. But there's also many places that will walk without that. So no, the best protection is awareness and respect, in my opinion, doubly Butchard. If you see something and then respect it, then you should have absolutely no reason to be even remotely concerned about an attack being forthcoming. Torch. That's what I'm taking to the Kruger with me to prevent any attacks, because I'm not going to walk around at night. The camps in the park are fenced, but you should, I was also taught very early on, always pretend that nothing is fenced, because stuff can come through fences very easily, and it can make people complacent if you say, "Oh, the camp's fenced." Yeah, I've had most big 5 animals inside fenced camps, and if nothing else, then snakes and scorpions. So yeah, that's what I'm taking to protect myself. W. Butchard, I'm taking a good torch and closed shoes. It looks like there's a little thickney or something walking by the edge of the water. Oh, Zygo, you meant from the tip of the mouth to the end of the tail. Okay, how do you measure one? Sorry. Yes, yeah. So it'll be the tip of the nose, and down through the head, and then all the way to the tip of the tail. Crocodiles are quite slow growing. One way of aging, some people's or aging stroke condition of a crocodile is how thick the tail is. I believe they sometimes store energy resources in sort of fat in the tail. So if a crocodile is older and well fed, oh, where's our elephant gone? You will see quite a nice thick tail there. So I get water thickening still there near the pan. Okay, yes, I also saw that water thickening. This is our elephant, possibly the same elephant that came down for a drink just now here at King's Camp in the Timbavati. I can hear what sounds like a Birchall starling in the distance. Is it Birchalls? One thing I often struggle with in the Kruger, depending on where you are, is telling the difference between a greater blue-eared and a glossy starling. You can tell if they call, but for me, people say, oh, you know, one's got a slightly more bluish tinge. Now, which way around is it? The greater blue-eared starling had a slightly greener tinge, and the glossy starling, used to be called the Cape glossy starling, I think they're now called glossy starling, has a slightly bluer tinge. And the greater blue-eared starling is supposed to have sort of black markings sort of around the back of their eyes there. But I can never find it. But yes, I am very excited. I will make, often I don't record what I see. I will add new birds to my bird list. But maybe I will make a point of seeing what I see in the Kruger in the space of 24 hours and I report back. Zygo, you think that tau crocodile is around 2 meters? This tau crocodile? I'm just, oh, look, there's our big male impala that I was anticipating. Thanks, boy. Thanks for making an appearance. I think you're probably about right, Zygo. See the tail at the end is curled around a little bit, but I'm trying to work out the perspective of how far away those impalas are. And then if you move the impala forward and then laid it down on its side, how long that would be in relation to the crocodile. That's a very strange way of measuring a crocodile, but that's what my brain does. What unit of measurement would you use to measure a crocodile? An impala on its side. Been seeing lots of Franklin and trees lately in the park, I've noticed. I think that's probably got something to do with the time of year. These ground birds, despite the fact that was a Franklin or a spurfowl calling there. Look at this boy ushering these. Look at he's herding everyone around. So Franklins or spurfowls, they can fly, but they're not brilliant. And they spend a lot more time on the ground. But in the summer, it can be dangerous for these birds to hang around on the floor too long. So we've been seeing lots of these predominantly ground birds up in trees. So that male impala is herding those females around. There's something. Oh, it's a blacksmith's lapwing. I saw something running through the grass then, and I got excited that it was a black and white thing that may have been a honey badger. Zygo, brilliant. Okay, you also compared. You also measured your crocodile with a laying down impala on its side. Brilliant. I'm glad it's not only me, but I can find it difficult to get a proper perspective sometimes on measurements and sizes. And it never ceases to amaze me, even something like a giraffe. Giraffes are massive. I think we've got about 6 or 7 giraffes in the estate I'm in, and they're very relaxed with vehicles. Sometimes you have to wait for quite a while for them to decide to make a little bit of space for you to drive past them. But sort of the top of the car doesn't even come up to it's not even up to the top of their legs. And it's not until you get really close, possibly slightly too close, that you get a perspective of how enormous some of these animals are. And even impala, we're very used to seeing impala. We think of them as, like from this, they just look like small antelope sort of thing, but they're not. They're really quite big. And I suppose that the back of a female impala is going to come, oh, at least up to my waist, which is a pretty well-sized animal. You think, if you're stood with a dog, if you've got a dog that comes up to your waist, you're going to think, wow, that dog's massive. But these impala, we sort of go, oh, look at the little antelope, but they're actually big. This male is doing an excellent job of keeping everything under control. Lots of body language, lots of posturing. I haven't actually seen, I don't think I've ever seen an impala mate. I've never seen mating impalas. Huh. That's interesting. I wonder if they mate at night. I wouldn't have thought so. They normally sleep at night. How interesting is that? That's what I'm going to do when I'm in the Kruger, is I'm going to try and see if I can see any mating impalas. That will keep me sitting in one place for a long time. I'll find a nice big herd of impala and just quietly wait with them. Jack de Boer, they've got to be careful around that crocodile. They have. That crocodile is, I'm not sure if we've actually seen one of these crocs eating an adult impala. Certainly one of the young ones. And it would probably have a good go at one of the adults as well. So yeah, you're right. They do have to be very careful around that crocodile. It's hard work for these males keeping all these females in order during this rutting season. And it's one of the reasons that male impala female herd claims don't last for an entire season. It will be, books say, I've never actually observed it myself, but books will say sometimes 3, 4, 5 days those male impalas have reproductive access to these females, and then they're absolutely exhausted and they will drop back into a bachelor group, and whoever has been decided is the next in the reproductive line will move forward from the group of bachelor males and then take over control of this group of females. You see how they all sort of stopped then? Must be something going on over to the right somewhere. They all just stopped, had a little look, a little sniff, decided that it wasn't a problem, whatever the thing was. MG leopard spots, which are bigger, African or Australian crocs? I think it's the Nile crocodiles we have here, and I know up in the Northern Territory of Australia, they're saltwater crocodiles, and I think those salties get bigger. Don't quote me on it. I know our crocodiles can get pretty big, but I'm fairly sure those saltwater crocodiles up in the Northern Territories of Australia do exceed our Africans in size. I remember the biggest python I've ever seen was spotted by an Australian I had in my car because I wasn't even looking for a snake that big. And he said, no, this is about normal size where I'm from. That was a bit more New Zealand than Australian, but there we go. Well, thank you all for joining us this afternoon. It's hugely appreciated. Your input has been delightful, as always. I will indeed, W. Butchard, enjoy my night in the Kruger. It's a pleasure to be here. I will make a list of what I see, and hopefully I will report back to all of you soon. Have a fabulous rest of your day and keep on enjoying those cameras.